So 6 questions, 6 answers. One word destroyed everything. Today, inside the United States Congress, a prosecutor sat down and a congressman did not ask questions. He delivered a verdict. In under 5 minutes, Representative Ted Lieu asked 6 simple questions to Special Counsel Jack Smith, and 6 times the answer shattered the entire Republican narrative. No drama, no theatrics. Just one word repeated 6 times that echoed across that chamber like a hammer. No, 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 no. The room did not explode. It went completely silent. Because sometimes silence is louder than any applause. Here is exactly what happened.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The House Judiciary Committee is responsible for helping to ensure the rule of law. Unfortunately, the chairman of this committee ignored a bipartisan congressional subpoena directed at him. His actions have made it harder for this committee and other congressional committees to get witnesses and testimony and damage the rule of law. Now, before I ask questions of Mr. Smith, I just want to make a simple observation. How scared are Republicans of talking about the Epstein files? They're so scared that they literally are calling Jack Smith the distinguished federal prosecutor who secured multiple indictments against Donald Trump with multiple felony counts. Republicans would rather talk about the criminality of Donald Trump in trying to steal an election and trying to stop the peaceful transfer of power, and the criminality of Donald Trump in stealing classified documents, obstructing justice, than about Donald Trump's associations with Jeffrey Epstein and his pedophilia ring. I demand this committee, this chairman, and Republicans to call an immediate hearing asking why the Department of Justice is refusing to release 99% of the Epstein files and why the DOJ is violating the law right now. I have questions, Mr. Smith, for you, and thank you for being here today. My questions center on interactions or lack of interactions between the Biden administration and yourself. Did President Biden or anyone in the Biden White House ever direct you to seek retribution against anyone perceived to be Biden's political opponent?
No.
Did the Biden administration or President Biden or anyone in the White House ever write a social media post directing you to seek retribution against any particular individual?
No.
Did President Biden or anyone else in the Biden White House ever direct you to take any prosecutorial step whatsoever?
No.
Okay. Donald Trump made it clear he wanted to seek retribution against New York Attorney General Tish James. Trump relentlessly attacked her, saying, quote, she should be prosecuted and, quote, arrested and punished because she dared to hold Trump accountable for Trump's fraud in New York. Trump weaponized the Department of Justice, and the Trump DOJ opened a sham investigation into her alleged mortgage fraud. We know it's a sham investigation because they couldn't even get twice grand juries to secure indictments against her. When interim U.S. Attorney Eric Siebert, who Donald Trump himself appointed, spent 5 months investigating Tish James, he concluded there was not enough evidence to go forward. And what did Trump do? He fired his own U.S. attorney. Mr. Smith, did President Biden or anyone else in the Biden White House ever tell you that Donald Trump should be, quote, arrested and punished?
No.
Did President Biden or anyone else in the Biden White House ever threaten to fire you based on any action you took or did not take?
No.
Donald Trump also directed the Trump DOJ to open investigations into his own appointees who refused to do his bidding. His DOJ recently investigated Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell because Powell won't cede to Trump's bullying on interest rates. Did President Biden or anyone else in the Biden White House ever direct you to go after any Biden appointee?
No.
Okay. I just want to say a little bit about what the Republicans have brought up about these phone toll records. Do you believe the Speaker of the House is above the law?
No, I don't believe anybody should be above the law.
Right. And U.S. senators are not above the law, correct?
No.
Yeah. And members of Congress are not above the law, right?
No.
Yeah, that's right, because we're not. And what Republicans are trying to argue is somehow, if you're doing an investigation, you can't do stuff to senators or members of Congress. Get out of here. We're just under law like everybody else. And by the way, the speech and debate clause only applies to legislative acts, communications with legislative acts. Stealing a frickin' election and trying to do so is not a legislative act. It is a crime. So I don't know what the heck they're talking about. And this is so stupid. I'm a former prosecutor. You never in an investigation go and try to get someone's tow records or phone records and then tell them, hey, dude, we're about to get your phone records. Of course you wouldn't tell them. What the Republicans are saying today is just idiotic. I am so pleased you're here on national TV telling the American people that Trump was indicted. He was indicted lawfully, and multiple grand juries secured those indictments. Thank you for your service, and history will look upon you well.
What we saw today was not just a hearing. It was a mirror held up to power. Think about this for a moment. For years, you have been told that the justice system is weaponized, that prosecutors are political soldiers, that indictments are just revenge wrapped in legal language. Maybe you have wondered yourself, can I even trust what I am seeing anymore? That is not a crazy question. That is a fair one. And today, under oath before the United States Congress on national television, Jack Smith answered it 6 times. But Ted Lieu did not stop there. He showed the room and the entire country what actual weaponization looks like. Donald Trump publicly demanded that New York Attorney General Letitia James be prosecuted and jailed simply because she had the courage to hold him accountable for fraud. Trump's Department of Justice launched investigations against her. Not once, twice, 2 grand juries, 0 indictments. And when his own appointed U.S. attorney concluded there was not enough evidence to move forward, Trump removed him. His own appointee, removed for following the law instead of personal loyalty. And it did not stop there. Jerome Powell, chair of the Federal Reserve, refused to lower interest rates on Trump's personal demand. So Trump's Department of Justice opened an investigation into him as well. Are you seeing the pattern? This is not justice. This is not law enforcement. This is a loyalty test where federal power becomes the punishment. And here is what should concern every single person watching this. It does not matter if you are Democrat or Republican. When the most powerful law enforcement system in the world becomes a tool for one person's personal vendettas, every family is at risk. Today it is Powell. Today it is Tish James. Tomorrow it could be anyone who simply said no. Ted Lieu, a former prosecutor himself, said it clearly. The speech and debate clause only applies to legislative acts. Stealing an election is not a legislative act. It is a crime. No legal jargon. No political spin. Just truth spoken clearly on the record. And the Republicans in that room had no answer, because there is not one. What we saw today was not just a congressional hearing, it was a confession by silence. No counter, no rebuttal, no evidence, just noise. And noise fades. The record does not. If you found this breakdown clear and valuable, make sure to subscribe to the channel for more real, fact-based analysis like this. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks.